The dinosaurs never went extinct. They evolved into birds. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You walk outside your house. A pigeon lands nearby. You barely even notice it. After all, it is just a bird. Ordinary, common, and forgettable bird. But what if I told you that this pigeon is actually a dinosaur? Not metaphorically or symbolically, but literally. The age of dinosaurs never truly ended. Some dinosaurs survived, and today they are everywhere around us. They sing outside our windows, they steal our food, they soar above mountains, they dive into oceans, they hunt fish and build nests. The story of birds is not the story of birds, it is the final chapter of the dinosaur story. And to understand that story, we must travel back hundreds of millions of years, back to a world before birds, before dinosaurs, and before even the first creature who ever flew. About 400 million years ago, life was still learning how to live on land. The skies were empty. There were no birds, bats, or insects. Nothing flew. Then came one of evolution's greatest inventions, the insect wing. Scientists are still debating exactly how wings evolved, but once they appeared, everything changed. For the first time in Earth's history, an animal could leave the ground and enter a completely new world, the sky. Dragonfly like insects soon became the rulers of the air. Some species grew enormous. One giant dragonfly relative called Meganora had a wingspan of nearly 70 centimeters. Imagine a dragonfly the size of a crow. For millions of years, insects owned the skies. But they would not remain alone, because then started the age of reptiles. Around 250 million years ago, reptiles began dominating Earth, and among them emerged one of evolution's most successful groups, the dinosaurs. Some of them were tiny, some became giants. Some dinosaurs walked on two legs and some on four. Some of them hunted while the others grazed. Over time, dinosaurs spread across the entire planet. For more than 160 million years, they ruled Earth. To put that into perspective, humans have existed for only 3 lakh years. Dinosaurs ruled for more than 500 times longer. And while giant dinosaurs were conquering the land, another group was preparing to conquer the sky. The first flying reptiles evolved. The first vertebrates to achieve powered flight were not birds, they were pterosaurs, creatures like Pteranodon and Quetzalcoatlus. These magnificent flying reptiles evolved around 220 million years ago. They were not dinosaurs, they were cousins of dinosaurs. Using huge skin membranes stretched between elongated fingers, they became the first vertebrates to truly fly. For millions of years, pterosaurs dominated the skies. Yet, the ancestors of birds were evolving quietly below. Then came the feather revolution, a surprising twist. Feathers did not evolve for flight, at least not initially. Scientists believe feathers first evolved in small dinosaur species for insulation, display, camouflage, and attracting mates. Imagine a small dinosaur covered in fuzzy feathers. It could not fly. It probably looked ridiculous, but evolution does not plan for the future. It simply modifies what already exists, and sometimes a feature developed for one purpose becomes useful for another. This process is called exaptation. The feather was about to change history, and then came the dinosaur, which changed everything. Around 150 million years ago lived a remarkable creature, Archaeopteryx, perhaps the most famous fossil ever discovered. Archaeopteryx looked like somebody had mixed a dinosaur and a bird together. It had feathers, wings, claws on its hands, teeth in its mouth, and a long bony tail. It could probably glide and perhaps fly short distances. It was not fully a bird, and it was not fully dinosaur either. It was a combination of both. For the first time, scientists could cleanly and clearly see the transition. Birds were not separate from dinosaurs. Birds were dinosaurs. But how did flight evolve? And why did it evolve at all? Because evolution loves opportunities. A creature that could leap farther could escape predators. A creature that could glide could reach food more easily. A creature that could move through trees efficiently had an advantage. And over millions of years, arms became wings, feathers became aerodynamic, bones became lighter, and muscles became stronger. Tiny improvements accumulated generation after generation, and eventually, true flight emerged. Not in one single leap, but through millions of small steps over millions and millions of years. Today, we know that many dinosaurs had feathers. Even famous predators such as velociraptors possessed feathers. If you could travel back in time, many dinosaurs would look less like giant lizards and more like bizarre birds. The line separating birds and dinosaurs would become blurry because there was no line. Birds were simply one branch of the dinosaur family tree. But then came catastrophe. 66 million years ago, a gigantic asteroid struck Earth near present day Mexico. The impact released energy greater than billions of nuclear bombs. Wildfires erupted, tsunamis crossed oceans, dust filled the atmosphere, sunlight disappeared, food chains collapsed. The age of dinosaurs seemed over. Most of the dinosaur species vanished forever. Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, Ankylosaurus, all of them gone. But not all dinosaurs died. A few of them survived. Small feathered dinosaurs, also called birds. Why did birds survive? Scientists think that several factors helped them. Birds were small, adaptable, able to eat seeds, and capable of flying to new locations. When ecosystems collapsed, giant animals struggled. Small survivors endured. The same traits that once seemed insignificant became life saving advantages. And so, while the mighty kings of dinosaur world perished, their tiny feathered relatives survived. After the extinction, birds exploded into hundreds of new forms. Some became eagles, others became hawks, owls, parrots, penguins, hummingbirds, ostriches. Some of them conquered deserts, the others conquered oceans. Some of them learned to hover, and some learned to dive. Some of them learned to migrate across continents. Today, there are more than 11,000 bird species on Earth. They inhabit nearly every environment imaginable. So, the next time you see a pigeon, a sparrow, a crow, or a chicken, remember something extraordinary. You are not looking at the descendants of dinosaurs, you are looking at dinosaurs themselves. The asteroid ended the reign of most of the dinosaurs, but one branch survived and inherited the earth. The age of dinosaurs never truly ended. It simply learned how to fly. And every morning, when birds begin to sing outside our windows, they remind us of a story that began over 150 million years ago, the greatest survival story in the history of life on Earth. If you like this video, please share it and do subscribe to Nerdvana. Thank you so much for listening.